We're going to talk about some new stuff, and I think this is one of the biggest competitive advantages. And I'll show you exactly how you can do it, all right? Now, you're a firm everywhere, right? How to capture and keep the attention of your ideal client in the new legal landscape. And attention is a very important thing, right? So we see a lot of attorney commercials, but can you imagine, right? Like if these commercials played out in real life, like attorneys in the wild, right? Well, we actually produced a video of exactly that. Check it out.
Just one sip of alcohol could land you a DUI! Idiot.
I gotta get ready for work and I gotta take the kids to school. I don't have time to deal with the trash right now.
There's trash in the garage from last week.
Maybe sometime you take the trash out. We won't have to worry about the trash being left over that out there. Because you want me to do the trash, take the kids, cut the grass. What is it that you want me to do?
Go on.
Have you been injured in a slip and fall?
I think the funniest part of that video is that when we put out a casting call for that video, we're like, we need someone to behave as an attorney in front of a banana peel, right? And we had multiple applicants, right? It's amazing. And those people were great. So let's talk about this, right? Here are the three things we're going to hit, okay? We're going to talk about the role of attention-based marketing, why you need to take a multi-channel approach, and some advanced strategies to leverage video, okay? And a lot of this presentation, our audience here is a little bit different from I guess, it's a traditional legal conference. Many of you already have videos and crisp videos, so this is a presentation about what do you do with it next, right? This isn't about, you got to tell your story and all that. Like, we did that, right? But this is how do you leverage that content, okay? So let's talk about the role of attention-based marketing, first of all. And just a show of hands, okay? How many of you follow us on social media? Any social platform, anything, okay? How many of you, just keep your hands up, just one, have you seen one Facebook ad ever from us? Ever? Okay. What about two? Two Facebook ads. What about 200? Okay? All right, let's forget Facebook. What about across the web, right? Have you guys ever seen one of our ads? Anyone? Hands up? Okay. What about like two of them? No? Like 200? All right, next question. Let's forget the web stuff just for a second. How many of you received an email from us? Okay, like one email, right? Okay, what about 2 emails? Okay, and I want to use this time to make sure that everyone here is taking their Colby, okay? Well, I'm going to send you another email, all right? In fact, I'll send you as many as it takes, all right? Now, this is fascinating, and don't worry about offending me. How many people, just a show of hands, have unsubscribed from our emails? Okay? Bunch of liars. Man, I'll tell you, because I know the exact amount. I know the exact number. Leading up to this, I had our team look, and I was like, I want to know how many people, like in the audience, have unsubscribed from our emails, okay? You guys want to know the number? All right? Because I was going to put up the headshots, and they're like, no, Mike, don't do that. All right? It's over 25 of you, okay? And this is so fascinating to me. Over 25 people, okay, unsubscribed from our emails. They said, no, I'm not interested in any communications. And yet, bought a conference ticket, booked a hotel room, booked the flight, and most brought their friends. Amazing, isn't it? And like when I see this stuff, because people are like, don't talk to me, don't communicate. I mean, we had somebody, literally, I looked 2 years ago, emailed us and said, I don't ever want to have any communication from you guys again. I would never work with you ever, ever. And that person is sitting in this room as a client. Okay? So I'm thinking, okay, like there's got to be something here, right? And what I'm realizing is, and like I'm sure you all know from our approach, at the end of the day, you've got to be relentless with your marketing. Okay? This is going to be the core theme of this entire presentation. This is not going to be like the low-key, I'm going to take a very different approach, but I'm just telling you because a lot of people are going to say, just don't send so many emails, and like assuming that if you, like the marketing team did this to me once, right? They said, Mike, we don't want to send another e-blast. They're going to unsubscribe. They're already not opening up all the emails. And I said, okay, so, they're worried about their inbox, right? They're worried about your inbox. And I said, well, okay, if you stop sending the emails, can we make sure that everybody else who sends them emails can also stop? Because their inboxes are getting slammed either way. The only difference is when you take yourself out of that pool, like they just don't hear from you. And the trend that we're seeing with digital media consumption, you look at Kleiner Perkins, the internet trends of 2018, look at the time that's being spent with like digital media daily, right? We're 6 hours. And the trend in terms of global internet ad spend and global TV ad spend, I mean, you're seeing now the internet ad spend succeeding it. Okay? Over 50% of like daily media consumption time is spent with video. Now this quote, okay? This is a mouthful to read, but I'll read it anyway. In an information-rich world, the wealth of information means a dearth of something else, a scarcity of whatever it is that information consumes the attention of its recipients, right? So basically, whatever there's a scarcity of, right, that becomes the new currency. And today, it is attention, without a doubt. Without a doubt. If you can capture somebody's attention, right, that is the single greatest value. But what we see, how most attorneys are marketing and they're advertising, is to the 3% of people that are ready to hire them today. Literally. The type of person who is literally like searching on Google, I need an auto accident attorney, a motorcycle accident attorney today, right? 3%. 3% are ready to hire you. What about the other 97, right? And what happens is when you compete for these same 3%, it gets very expensive. Very expensive, okay? So like meaning that it's like trying to close on day one, first date, right? And in the book, my editor Chaz is here. We went back and forth on this. And I was like, there's a section where we talk about don't try to close on the first date. And we went back and forth. He's like, don't do that. We're going to say, when you meet someone, don't ask them to marry you, okay? So we tamed it out, right? But here's the deal, right? Because it is so competitive for this 3%, look at the cost on Google pay-per-click, especially when you're getting into some pretty like valuable cases. It's extremely expensive. This is the cost per click. 78 of the top 100 most expensive Google PPC terms are legal, right? You want to be a complete asshole? Like literally, if you're just like, feeling that I want to just inflict some damage on somebody, I literally want to cause them pain. You Google best mesothelioma lawyer, and you click on that ad. It will cost that firm almost $1,000 on a click. It might be worth it. I mean, I guess like, to an extent, right? If they're real clicks, right? The value of these cases, we're talking about 7-8-figure cases, and some, it might be worth, a 6-figure cost of acquisition. But I think there's another way, right? Enter social media, right? And like, look, these are the stats, but the reality is, I think we all have mobile devices, and we know Facebook is crushing it. And it doesn't matter if you take them to court, even like they're testifying in front of Congress. The user base did not drop off, and the engagement didn't drop off. Right? There was a lot of noise, but nothing changed. And with YouTube, people are watching over 1 billion hours of video a day. LinkedIn's pretty sweet too, and video's doing well. So think about this. Where does your attention go when a TV commercial comes on, right? Wall Street Journal's saying that people are shifting online. YouTube's going to overtake TV as America's most watched platform. And Facebook actually did this experiment. So this is actually fascinating. They did an experiment. There was like a hit show, and it was the season premiere. And they based it on what times the commercial breaks were happening, right? And how Facebook usage changed. And they found that at every commercial break, Facebook use went up. Every single break. All right? So literally, they weren't even watching the commercials. They would just pull up their phones, right? And go on Facebook. And then there was another highly scientific study. I'm sure they expended a lot of money and resources to figure this out. And they said the millennials are twice as much likely to be focused while watching video on their smartphones versus on TV, okay? I have no idea how they did this placebo-controlled study, but I would argue that when they're already on their phone, unless there's another phone behind the phone, right? There's nowhere to go, okay? Now, here's the thing though, we're gonna get real. Recent article in the Wall Street Journal, Political Reality, buy ads on Facebook or risk losing the election. Bottom line, right? And they said that politicians who aren't on Facebook are ceding voters' attention to their opponents. And I found this fascinating. In 2014, political ad spending on Facebook was only 1% of all political ad spending. Today, it is 22%, okay? They know that that's where people's attention is, right? And they need to be able to target them there. So they're shifting money away from a lot of traditional platforms like TV and shifting it into digital. This is the new reality. The internet is the new billboard. Like, I'm telling you, this is gonna sound like a simple concept, but you can absolutely crush it online from like a top-of-mind awareness and reach standpoint. Like, at a lower cost, you can hit people. I mean, when you see us on CNN, we're not paying CNN to put the ad there, or Fox News, or whoever, right? Like, when you're seeing us on all these different platforms, it is so inexpensive, it's not even funny. And the reality is, most attorneys still aren't doing this, okay? So, the need to take a multi-channel approach. Because I'm not saying that you should stop the billboards, stop TV, stop radio. I mean, if they're effective and they're working, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that there's a lot of value in this space at a very low cost, okay? So what is multi-channel marketing, all right? Well, multi-channel is the practice of reaching your prospective clients using a combination of indirect and direct communication channels. So in the old days, a lot of us like to think, if someone sees your ad, clicks your ad, becomes a client. Wouldn't this be nice, right? That's the short game. They just click the ad, they call you, they sign, right? Well, the reality is it goes like this. They'll see a video on Facebook, they'll be retargeted with another one on YouTube and another ad on the Wall Street Journal, drive by your billboard, hear a radio ad. Now they actually have a legal need and they remember your firm. They Google you and then they reach out. And when they call you and the intake team says, "How did you hear about us?" they'll say, "We Googled you." Right? And then you're like, well, all the other stuff's not working, right? You know, the radio, the billboard, like Facebook, all that stuff, it all is playing together. In fact, I'll mention briefly that, our Game Changer attendees that got these little gifts, I don't know how many of you taken them out. Has anyone taken out their purple oral seat cushion? Okay. The purple butt pillow. All right. This is the definition of multi-channel marketing, right? So this is actually an experience that I had too, but Purple, this company, it's a mattress company, started targeting me with Facebook ads. They're actually very funny ads, but they have a little seat cushion. They call it the purple butt pillow, right? And I'm like, not interested, right? Then I'd see it on other websites, then several months went by, and then I eventually bought it on Amazon, okay? But here's the thing. If you are on the Purple paid marketing team, you would have never gotten attribution for that purchase, right? They would have been like, the Facebook ads aren't working, right? Even though they did work and they remain top of mind. So the lesson here is that you should always remain top of mind, always, right? I mean, unless you just want to go after the 3% that rate today, you can compete against everyone. But I think if you really want to grow, because you've got a much larger pool of people, get the 97%, right? And get them when they're ready. Some will be ready today, some will be ready next week, some will be ready 2 years from now, okay? And the best way to do this is by strategically advertising where your clients spend the most time. And I'll give you like the Cliff Notes. It's usually these 4 platforms: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, okay? And someone's like, well, what about Snapchat? Or what about Vine? That may be the case. It depends on your audience, right? If your audience is under the age of, 15, sure. Why not, right? It's the same way, like when you say, well, my clients are like 70 or 80 years old. They're not on Facebook. They're on Facebook. Because Facebook has ruined family reunions. Did you guys know this? Like, there's actually been a trend. There's a study that shows Facebook has ruined family reunions because now, like, all these, like, photos, people are tagged, and now people know what's going on, their extended families and so on. They don't have to meet anymore. They just catch up on Facebook, and believe me, grandma's not going to delete her account, because she's got all those photos on there, right? She's going to stay on Facebook. They got her. There's that level of stickiness, okay? So let's talk about some advanced strategies to leverage video in a multi-channel marketing campaign, because this is a new medium and there's new rules, right? So the bottom line is, don't try to equate these different platforms and think that You can run the same type of videos everywhere on every platform. It's very different. What works on Facebook is different than what works on YouTube versus Instagram versus TV. Like, you can't run TV commercials on the internet. You know, TV commercials, there's ones that can be very effective on TV, but online it's very different, okay? You really want to be optimizing for the platform in terms of the format, whether it's a square video or a landscape video. You know, there's different types of mobile ad formats, like the newsfeed, in-stream ads, even TrueView, okay? So let's start with YouTube. I'll give you these pro tips. I mean, we've done so many case studies and so much research on this. We do this for ourselves. I'm literally telling you this is how we did it, okay? The YouTube 6-second bumper ad. This thing is awesome. Run this thing. Don't even question it. It is unskippable, okay? Doesn't matter what they're about to watch. Let's say they're about to watch a movie trailer. They're not necessarily going to click away and go hire your law firm. They're probably still going to watch the movie trailer. But the advantage here is, you know, and we did this recent case study. In 5 days, the thing got 135,000 views. It was less than a penny per view and 949 clicks at a 32 cent per click. Guys, we were just looking at those Google pay-per-click ads that are $900 a click. 32 cents, right? I mean, what are we talking about? Run this stuff, right? You can do all this stuff yourself, right? Now, you do want to have the right video format, but that level of frequency is very, very important, okay? Let's talk about Facebook. Facebook's pretty great, you know? It doesn't matter even if they take away targeting options because of all the privacy stuff going on. You can still be very strategic with it. You can still target all sorts of different modifiers like demographic info, location, life events, their interests, their digital behavior, right? I mean, that's how we follow you. We'll never let go. The team knows. I mean, look, the team is so relentless. I heard this last week and I was like, I wasn't even mad. They're so relentless, our team, that they prospected each other to ask if someone could send them referrals, on the same team. Amazing, right? So on Facebook, here's an easy one, the in-stream ad, right? You're starting to see these now in between videos, right? Same type of deal. It could be a 6-second or a 15-second. 15-second squares work really well here. And again, this is all stuff top of funnel. You know, you have to realize that there's such a value. If you take away one thing and nothing else, there's such a value to staying top of mind consistently. You know, I was speaking with Alex Chenard the other day, and Alex, I looked up the study. This is actually incredibly fascinating. Coca-Cola, obviously a big brand, has been advertising in just globally for years. And as an experiment, they cut off their advertising in one market, right? Do you know how long it took for a brand like Coca-Cola that has been investing hundreds of millions of dollars to see a dip in sales? How long do you guys think? 3 months. Coca-Cola. So what do you think happens when you're not staying top of mind, right? I mean, again, there's such a value to it because they may not have the need today, they may not have the need next week or whenever, but you're targeting a much larger pool of people so that when they do or when their friend does, you're always there, okay? So this is the Facebook in-stream ad, and this is just an example. This is another one we ran. Check it out, 40,000 impressions. It's not even a penny, right? 90 clicks, $1 cost per click, when you're targeting. Because Facebook organic reach is declining, and it's all pay to play, by the way. None of this stuff is organic. The organic stuff is done. I mean, with the exception of LinkedIn, I would say for the most part, it's all pay to play, all right? But there's such a value to continuing to target people in this way. Same thing with Instagram. All right? You don't have to be a fitness model to be on Instagram. In fact, the advantage is if you're marketing on Facebook, you can literally check a box in your Facebook ads, and it will run that ad to that audience on Instagram. Right? So you're just targeting another platform where they spend their time. I mean, the goal is literally to be everywhere. All right? So all this stuff is top of funnel. All right? Here's another example. 5 days. 0.05 cents per view, or 5 cents per view, 14,000 impressions. Consistently staying top of mind. This is, again, a 30-second or 15-second Instagram ad. The squares. The big difference is really in the formatting of the videos, and I'll show you guys a few examples of what these videos actually look like so you can see a 30, a 15, and a 6, because as you see, most of the brand videos that we're doing are around 2 minutes, right? 2 to 3 minutes. You can't get these ad spots unless the video is specifically formatted to fit within the format and runtime of these spots, which is why there's such a big advantage, because there's such a curve to where it keeps a lot of people out, right? They're not gonna produce a 6-second video, right? They're gonna try to run the same video everywhere, right? So basically the idea is that if you can create this content 6 seconds, 15 seconds, 30 seconds in 2 variations, square-shaped and landscape-shaped, you can run it on pretty much every social digital ad platform at a very low cost. Like, do this. I'm telling you, this is like, this will change the game. You know, you can spend a few $1,000s a month and literally be everywhere they go. LinkedIn, right? This one's a little bit different, right? And LinkedIn is a great platform if you're trying to reach other attorneys, for example. Let's say you want to engage other referral sources. Yeah. The biggest advantage to LinkedIn is that literally no one's marketing on LinkedIn, for the most part, right? Right now, LinkedIn is basically what Facebook was probably 8 to 10 years ago, when you would post something and people would see it, right? So the big advantage on LinkedIn is just if you're posting consistently, especially if you're posting video content or promoted post, like, you can get really good reach just because there's really no competition yet, right? And you can post all sorts of things, articles, images, status updates. You know, and when we're looking at things like LinkedIn promoted posts, these tend to do extremely well. And again, all this stuff is at the very top of the funnel, simply to stay top of mind. Now, the other big thing, so when somebody visits your website or engages with any of your content, is how you can continue to retarget them, all right? So, and I'll tell you guys how you can set all this up. I would write these down, right? The Facebook pixel, that you'll be able to do Facebook retargeting. It's a little JavaScript piece of code, cookie, that you install on your website, and now anyone who visits your site, they can be retargeted on Facebook and even in Facebook's audience network. And you can get more sophisticated with it. You can actually see, all right, we're gonna run a video, top of funnel, that's gonna be targeted on Facebook for a very wide audience, and then the people that watch, let's say 25% of it or 50% of it, we're gonna build another audience of those people, and we're gonna target them. You know, personal injury, this is especially valuable there, right? Because how do you target injured people, right? Anyone could be injured, any age, any gender, you know, infants. I mean, again, how do you demographically target that? And what we find is that when you run a piece of content, let's say video content, top of funnel, run it to a broad audience, and then simply see who's engaging with it, like who's watching most of it, and then use that to build the audience, right? Because those are the people that are actually interested and that it's relevant to. Okay, so that's Facebook. And you can actually get very sophisticated with this. You can make sure that when people visit various pages on your website, let's say you have different practice areas, let's say you have practice areas on motorcycle accidents, trucking accidents, depending on the pages they're at, or even depending on how much time they spend on your website, whether it was 2 seconds or 2 minutes, you can build some specific ad targeting to make sure you're only hitting engaged people, right? The next one is ad roll and perfect audience. These are awesome, all right? This is what lets you target across the web. And with a service like ad roll, they'll even create the ads for you, right? This is when you see those banner ads on CNN, that's ad roll, right? And Google ads, that's how you do a lot of YouTube retargeting, right? They don't call them Google AdWords anymore, right? They went Google ads, okay? So this is the biggest thing. You can never let go, right? You just gotta hold on, you know? And when they've hired you, wonderful. Now you can retarget them to send you referrals, right? So there's 3 keys to remaining top of mind in the attention economy. Okay, number 1, and look, I have to say this because this is a clearly important part. If you're putting out junk out there, you're just contributing to the spam. You've got to put together engaging content, right? If you guys are crisp clients, you already have this stuff, right? You know it, so you've got the content piece, right? You got to ensure that it gets in the eyes of your ideal clients wherever they spend their time, whatever platform they're spending their time. And then you got to be relentless with your approach, relentless, okay? And we're finding that when timing, firm message, and needs align, that's where you get success in an instant. That's where you get a lead, that's where you get a call, that's where you get an appointment, right? On that day, right, because think about it. Generally, if you're not injured, you're probably not very interested in a personal injury attorney, right? There's really not much there for you. But the day that you are, it's a very interesting type of need, right? I need one today, right? When you're sober, you don't really need a criminal defense attorney specializing in DUI. But the day that you get a DUI, you need one bad, right? So it's important that like the timing has to align. And that's where I was giving you guys the example earlier on when we had a client, 2 years ago said, fuck off. Okay, and today says, hired. I love these guys. I'm going to come to their conference, and I'm going to, like, amazing, you know? And they begged me, don't say who it is, you know? I just found it so fascinating because there's what people say and there's what people do. And they might say things like, you know, I'm tired of seeing your ads. I'm tired of seeing your videos. I'm tired of seeing your billboards. I'm tired of hearing your radio ads. And yet they call you anyway, right? So really pay attention to what they're actually doing, okay? And the day that they have this need and you've got the right message, boom, you got them, okay? So I will say this, all right? Bailey put this one in, all right? It's time to stop being bashful. And we actually, this is shocking to learn. So we have a young team, average age about 26. They've never seen Saved by the Bell. Many of them didn't know which dwarf this was, okay? It's bashful, okay? And what I mean by this is, you know, some people say, look, you know what? I would never do this. I don't want to take this relentless approach, Mike. I really don't want to do it. You know, I don't feel comfortable. I don't want to hit them this many times. I want to be gentle, you know? Like, I just don't think that that's me, you know? No one's asking you to get on top of a semi-truck and start screaming, okay? But a lot of people have a hard time taking this approach, sending that additional email, making that additional phone call, because for whatever reason, they don't want to inconvenience someone. And you may feel that way, and that is fine, but your competition doesn't care, because they're going to do it anyway, all right? And let me give you an idea. Let me tell you what does a relentless approach lead to, because, you know, I'm crazy. Right? This is how we do it. We do it crisp, right? In the last 3.5 years, all right, we went from 0 to 600 law firm clients. 3.5 years ago, 0 law firm clients. Today, over 600, all right? We launched these referral programs. Figured we'd get a few referrals, over 2,200, all right? Launch a first-time conference, 500 registrants. We grew 200% year over year, every single year since our inception. And we became the fastest-growing marketing company in the entire legal industry. So, in doing those things, and I'm not saying those things to brag and feel good, I'm telling you this is how you do it. This is exactly how we did it. Because we realized one thing. As long as you have this device on you, all right? As long as you have this device on you, because I'll tell you, look, you don't like our emails? You can unsubscribe from the emails, no problem. We'll get you on Facebook, you know? You say, you know, I'm tired of seeing these Facebook ads, Mike. You block us on Facebook. That's okay. I'll get you on YouTube, all right? Tired of the YouTube ads, I'll get you on the web, and then let's say you just unplug your internet. We'll send you a direct mail, okay? Because we will continue to take this approach until one of two things happen. Until one of us is dead, okay? Because this is what you have to do. You're competing in an attention marketplace, all right? You've got to get your message out there, and it's simply not enough to hit them once or twice. That's why it's having like one billboard is not enough. You've got to continuously target people where they spend their time. They've got a lot of things pulling for their attention, and it's not just other law firms. I mean, could we be so blessed if you were just competing against other law firms? If you didn't have to compete against Apple and Best Buy and bakeries and flower shops? I mean, you're competing against everyone for their attention, right? So that's why you have to continuously stay top of mind to where they say, yeah, you know, I've heard of you before. So actually, this is interesting. I met somebody at a conference a few weeks ago, and they were telling me that upstairs of their office, they had their old law professor, right? Law professor, a retired guy, he's not currently practicing law, doesn't even own a law practice. And he showed his video to his law professor, and his law professor said, that's a crisp video, right? How does this man know, right? Because we're relentless. We're probably hitting him on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram, right? And we're probably sending him emails, right? We are relentless with our marketing, right? And I encourage you to be as well. But attention is the new currency, right? And if you're not top of mind, you're invisible, okay? Whether you like it or not. So when someone's arrested, they're in a divorce, they need an estate plan, or they want to immigrate to Canada, you have to consider who are they going to call, right? The person they remember and the firm they remember, or the firm that they don't, right? So I encourage you, make sure you understand attention is the new currency, and at the very minimum, this is a marginal cost for the same benefits you would get with more traditional advertising. The number of billboards, radio ads, and TV spots you'd have to buy to gain the same benefit of earning millions of impressions. I mean, and we're not screwing around, by the way. Every single case study that we ran did over 100,000 views, okay? And you say, okay, what time frame? In a week. in a week, okay? That's why I'm telling you it's so valuable. Because if you can get 100,000 eyeballs in a week, 400,000 to 500,000 in a month, I mean, it's amazing. So, something you're interested in, go ahead and do it, but realize attention is a new currency. Thank you, guys.